Welcome to the Toke Trans podcast, where two token trans guys talk life, love, and getting high. Grab a J and join us. We do not condone the consumption of illicit activities with anyone under the age of 21. The following episode might contain discussions of things that might make some uncomfortable.
So today we're talking about pre-top surgery realness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pre-consult, pre-op thoughts.
Yeah, pre-op thoughts, all that kind of stuff. So just to start everything off, I'm almost 300 pounds and 5'8". So finding a surgeon for me was the number one biggest hurdle I've faced so far. And that took the longest.
And it was coming down to BMI, right?
Yeah, it was coming down to BMI, which is if you've done any research in the history of the BMI scale and its existence, you would know that it's rooted in eugenics and white supremacy. It's bullshit. We know that it's bullshit. And there's lots of different ways to be human and
Total
have
bullshit.
a body.
Total
Right.
bullshit.
Exactly. It's based on white Eurocentric male standards, which the majority of us don't fit into. So it's really unrealistic to compare yourself to a BMI. And for those of us who exist outside of their BMI range or whatever they say that I should weigh for my height and age, which is just absolutely. Could you imagine just for a moment if every 31-year-old 5'8" person weighed the exact same?
Oh my God, that would be so strange. People's bodies are different fucking sizes and shit.
I know. It's so weird.
This is not a foreign concept here.
Yeah. And it's just bonkers knowing that and still facing that hurdle. So I was referred to a surgeon from my primary care physician, and my primary care physician is, shout out to the Mazzoni Center,
Shout out,
is a trans care clinic, and they focus mostly on trans care, which I love about them. And it also makes it really easy for me to have these conversations. And so it had been a while. I had been avoiding starting the process because at the time I didn't have health insurance, and it was just what's the point? I'm not going to be able to afford this right now. So, and then I started full-time employment with TransTape, and now that I have health insurance, it's more of a possibility, especially because our employer, tried to get an insurance that was going to help us in this eventuality. So that's what I decided to bring up the conversation with my doctor, and she referred me to a surgeon. So I contacted that surgeon and was told that they would not be able to operate on me because my BMI is too high for them. They have a BMI limit. And that's when I figured out what this was and how much of a problem it was going to be for me. Turns out a lot of top surgeons, a lot of gender affirming surgeons operate under a BMI limit, which means that if you're heavier than that, then they can't operate on you. Which, is bullshit. I mean, just say that you're a bad surgeon. If you can't operate on fat people, then the issue isn't the fat person.
I can't operate on fat people. Yeah, like they would never. Yeah, no, I don't think that. And with you also have you're wanting to stay local, within driving distance for yourself. So that's also something that you're in the middle of looking through, right?
Right, absolutely. Every time I travel, I get sick. Case in point, what I'm experiencing right now. I traveled
Yeah.
for work and I got sick. Last time I traveled for work, I got COVID. I have pretty severe asthma and I can't be doing this to myself all the time.
No,
Um, and also, you know, having just been under the knife, I can't be doing any traveling and I'm trying to keep my expenses low.
seriously.
Um,
Absolutely.
right. We're trying to move and stuff like that. I'm not trying to put this isn't to um everybody has their own plan for their own surgery.
For sure.
Some
Yeah.
people, for some people, it's very important for them to travel to a specific person and have, this savings so they can stay there at a hotel, have their needs met and stuff, and safely travel when they're able to. But that's not in
Not
my
everybody
plan.
is able.
Right. That's not in my plan, and it would have elongated my wait time, which
Yeah.
is not something I'm willing to do.
No.
So, and also I live close to Philly, and which is a great city and has a lot of resources for trans people.
It's freaking awesome.
And right, and there's some good surgeons. So the options were there for me, and so. But then in the same breath, I'm limited to Philly and the surrounding area, and also limited to a surgeon who has no BMI limit or who has a high enough BMI limit that I could fit into.
Mhm.
And sure, I could lose weight. I could try to lose the weight, but um, I shouldn't have to.
That shouldn't be a barrier.
Right. I
Right.
shouldn't have to do something like that in order to get an affirming surgery that would inevitably remove a lot of weight from my body.
Emotionally and physically.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I got big old titties. I'm guessing even like without like if we're not even considering the liposuction into account,
Mm.
just removing the titties, I feel like is 20 pounds off my body. And in that case, I would fit under a lot of people's BMI limit even after that. So
You're like, hey, come on, help me out here.
right. I'm
You
like,
see what I'm working with. I cannot get that to get smaller. Like tissue does not get smaller.
yeah. And also, I've just been battling with my asthma for a really long time. Weight loss is gonna take a long time for me because of my limitations.
Yeah.
I have to take it easy. I can't do cardio really. And they say that they're saying now, I guess, I don't know. The school of thought seems to be all over the place that
Mhm.
like lifting,
Mhm.
like weight training and stuff will help you lose more weight than cardio does, which I mean, I hope is true. But anyway, the point is that losing weight would be a long process for me. And also, as I said before, I'm not willing to put this off. I'm
Yeah.
not willing to wait. I'd like to get this done.
Yeah.
I'm 31 years old. I've
This
been
is
waiting
pressing.
7 years. Yeah. So my doctor referred me to that surgeon who I found out had to be in my limit. And then I just started Googling surgeons that perform top surgery in my area
Mhm.
and just sending out email after email after email
Mhm.
asking if they have a BMI limit.
Yeah.
And I kept getting back, we have a BMI limit of 45, we have 40, or it's less than 45, 42, a BMI limit of 40, a BMI limit of 39, a BMI limit of 40. And I'm like, but not
Everybody has
only,
a different. What's that? No.
right, you would think that if it was rooted in any kind of fact or science, they would all be operating under the same
Consistent.
BMI limit.
Yeah.
Right. There's
What the
no
fuck?
consistency. It's
Where's that?
just like,
Ours is actually 39. Okay, we're
right.
39.
Yeah. So I'm like, what
Interesting.
the fuck? You're just not willing. You're just not willing to
Yeah.
operate on a bigger body, which is just wild to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that a heavier person has more risks of this and that and the other under anesthesia or
Sure.
this and that and the other with bleeding or healing. I
Sure.
understand that, but like higher risk doesn't mean don't do it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, Myself included, I'm sure lots of bigger trans people understand those risks and are willing to take them,
Yeah.
just like the thinner people understand the risks of undergoing a major surgery and they're
Sure.
still willing to take them. It
Yeah.
it's really such a shame how bigger bodies are made to feel like just existing in them is a danger. Like you're
Yeah.
promoting obesity or
By
you
existing.
know,
Just by existing.
right, just by
So thank you.
existing, you're already not healthy. You're
No.
already less healthy than us, and you already
Mhm.
can't have these procedures like welcome to you. Like you would have to lose weight
Yeah.
for us to affirm your body, which
Right.
is just wild. But
And your surgeon responded to one of your emails.
yeah, I found a surgeon, one at their help desk, or their help desk, their receptionist, um, excuse me, replied to me and told me that they did not have a BMI limit.
Dun, dun, dun.
Uh, and they operate out of Temple University's gender affirming surgery
What's
um,
their name?
area. Dr. Hamidian.
Okay.
I remembered it's that because he said it's like comedian, but with an H instead. So
Oh,
Dr. Hamidian.
nice.
And he trained under what's his fucking name in Chicago? Lauren Shorer or whatever his name is.
Mhm.
Um he trained directly under him and now he's doing his own thing. Um I saw some of his
Mm.
after results and they looked fine, but also I'm not very picky. I feel
Mhm.
as far as like my post-op results are
Mhm.
um and
I mean, really,
so
anything is better than this for me. And when, if in my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see how, like, even for me, like, I'm like, take them off. Like, when it comes down to the details, like, we can talk detail. Like, that's nothing. Like, just get them off. Like, yeah. So I can see that.
yeah, exactly. So I mean I liked his results well enough and he was very easy to get to and from. I can be at my own place, you know.
Yeah.
After surgery I can heal
Oh,
in my own home. Um my partner and I both work from home, so I don't have to worry about that. I'll be well taken care of.
yeah.
Um and I mean I feel like I'm very relieved that that part of the process is done.
Mhm.
You know, it was so heartbreaking. I'm gonna cry just talking about it.
That's okay. That's real shit.
It was so heartbreaking to send those emails. And every time I sent them, I was crossing my fingers, like, please, 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 please don't have a BMI limit. I just
Oh,
want my chest caught.
yeah.
And every time I got my heart broken. And it was so like that process just took so long because at a certain point I couldn't send any more emails.
Emotionally, yeah, that's
Right. I was
exhausting.
like, all I'm doing is beating myself up. All I'm doing is getting my heart broken. None of these fucking surgeons care. And I would get desperate in my emails. I would say things like, I have a severe respiratory issue. I can't just drop 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be good for my mental health either.
No.
I've had a very bad relationship with food and losing weight. And I don't want to put myself through that again. I don't want to re-traumatize myself just so I can get this surgery that I so desperately need and have been waiting on for 7 years. And so that process just took so long because of that. I just needed, and if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. Give yourself some fucking time, because man, if
Do it
I
the
kept
right
hearing
way.
no, I don't know what I would have done. You know, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm just fat. I still deserve to be affirmed.
I still deserve to be happy. You do.
Yeah,
Yeah. And feel comfortable in your fucking body when they have no idea what that is like.
exactly. And my doctor, my primary care physician at the Bozzoni Center, bless her, shout out to Caroline.
Oh,
She I came to her and was like, hey, like I'm considering like a weight loss pill. Can you put me on something that'll help me lose weight? Because I can't, like, with my asthma, exercise is just really hard. It's not very like it's not very possible for me right now. And she, instead of saying, yeah, let's look at some pills that I can put you on, she said, you need to breathe more than you need to lose weight. And she said, we're learning more and more that bigger bodies can be healthy bodies. And there's more than one way to be healthy.
yeah.
And she was like, as long as you're
Oh my
staying,
gosh.
active, that's fine. You're doing great. And I like, for her
You
to
do
say
what you
that,
can.
right. She was like, just eat well, stay active. It doesn't matter what size you are, as long as you're eating well and staying active. And that's the truth. I mean, sometimes I'm a little more sedentary than I like to be. Mental health plays, and sometimes I'm just lazy. But and I could be healthier,
Yeah,
but it's not my weight that makes me unhealthy.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it's I could be the exact same size that I am if I was just more active. I'd be a lot healthier. And I know that. And it has nothing to do with that number on the scale. And it's really hard to make that connection, especially when you have that problem to begin with.
Mhm.
Um, but to hear it come from a doctor really, really, really made a difference.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm so
That's
I'm
amazing.
so lucky and so grateful that that's the kind of care that I'm receiving.
Yeah.
Ah,
That's amazing.
man. I hope
Oh,
that I really hope that if anybody has a doctor that is telling them this, that, and the other about their weight and is wanting to put them on pills, that they get a second goddamn opinion,
get
because
another opinion. Just
yeah,
just get one. Like there's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion at all.
absolutely not.
Yes.
So
So you were thinking, hey, I'm gonna get on this wait list. Like, let's get this process started. What does this look?
right, yeah. So I called them, and to schedule my consult, and I called them in. I have to cough.
Mhm. That's okay, dude. I can't believe you're here, like literally on a podcast, putting out content, recovering from RSV right now, my boy.
Ugh, anything for the people, bro.
For the people, it's always for the people first. Yes.
So I called Dr. Hamidian's office and was like, what's the process? I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm
How
doing.
does this
Help.
work?
Right. And I'm like, all I know is I want surgery.
Yeah. Nice to
And
meet you.
right.
Get him off.
So she was great. And
And her name again?
her name is Estelle.
Yes.
Estelle. She was great. And she was like, okay, so we're gonna put your name on. There we go. We're gonna put your name on our wait list.
Mhm,
And the wait list was like a few months out or
mhm.
whatever. And then she was like, after, when it's your turn in the wait list, then you will have the consultation. And then after the consultation, as long as everything's good, then we contact your insurance, make sure everything's good, and
Mhm.
then we go from there. And so
So
I
you
called,
waited.
right. I called in June and I waited and I waited and I waited and waited. And I asked, I was like, so do you have an idea of like where we're looking at? And she was like, we really don't know. And I was like, okay, fair. Um, so I waited and then, oh shit, what month? It's January. When did I get the phone call? I got the phone call in November.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure.
That you had reached the top of the wait list.
Yes. Well, I had called in October.
Mhm.
So my initial call when I got put on the wait list was in June.
Mhm.
So June, July, August, September, October. So 4 months passed and I decided to call just to check in.
Yeah.
And so I called it like around the end of October and was like, hey, just check in to see, if we have
What's
a
up?
better idea of like where I am on the wait list and stuff. And she was like, well, we just scheduled someone for a consultation who called in May and I called in June. So she was like, you're not at the top, but you're like further to the top.
You're making it. You're almost there.
Right. And then a couple weeks later, she called me and was like, it's your turn. And oh my God, when I saw Temple University pop up on my caller ID, you could have blown me over
Oh.
with a feather. Like, oh my
Did
God,
you just feel like lifted off the ground?
I was already crying,
Oh.
I was
I felt
already,
it. Yes.
I was already crying. I answered the phone and I was like, hello. And she was like, is this Beau? And I was like,
It
yes.
really is.
And so we scheduled the consultation for the 17th of January, which was 2 days ago. And so I went.
It was an in-person consult.
Yeah, it was in person because,
How far away was it?
it's like 45 minutes from where I live.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice.
Yeah, so we didn't have a car, so we took an Uber, but it's
Sure.
fine.
Wow.
We could also take public transportation, but then it would have been 2 hours. And it's just like, I didn't want to miss it. I wanted to make sure I got there on time.
True.
And sometimes public transport runs late and stuff. And
Sure.
yes.
Yes. So you got to go in person.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I went in person, which it was.
Were you nervous?
I was so nervous. I don't even know why. Like the consultation.
You have to show someone the most vulnerable part of your body that you really hate or like dislike the most.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably why you were nervous.
True. That's true. But also in the same breath, it's like I show my titties on the internet.
Yeah, I guess, but in person, it's a different ball game.
Yeah. I was really nervous. And so they had me go into the room and take my top off and put a gown on, one of those hospital gowns that's just open in the back to cover myself up. And then my surgeon came in. It was like, knock, knock, knock. And then he half opened the door and he was like, oh, I have some people shadowing me today. Is that all right? And I was like, yeah, sure. What am I going to do?
No
Say
pressure.
no? Right. Like, no pressure. These people are studying to be doctors and they're shadowing me so that they can learn. Can they come in and learn?
I know.
And
No,
I'm
you
like,
may not learn about trans people. Like how? What?
I know.
Yeah.
So, way to hit me with a fucking hammer there, Doc. I mean, anyway, so
how many people came in?
It was like 6 fucking people.
Oh my, like holy shit, dude.
There was like 6 people total in that room. There were
That's a lot.
There were 3 other doctors that were shadowing him, and then my surgeon's PA.
Right.
And then I had mentioned casually that I may want a hysterectomy in the future because that was one of the questions.
Sure.
And then he invited the resident gynecologist to come in and just sit. And it was weird. But so when they came in, each of the doctors or like residents, I guess,
sure.
That were shadowing Dr. Hamidian came up to me and introduced themselves by name and pronouns, like one after the other. Like one came up and was like, "Hi, I'm Dr. J. My pronouns are he, him," and then stepped to the side. And then the next one, "Hi, I'm Dr. Z. My pronouns are she, her," and then step to the side. And then, "Hi,
Wow.
I'm Doctor, and my pronouns are," and then step to the side.
Presenting themselves to Captain Beau.
I know, and it was really like, I don't know. It was
Did
just,
you kind of like, what is this?
it was so
Presentation.
strange. It was so strange because I was already like, okay, there's a bunch of people here that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And then they just like
start doing strange things.
like a military-esque like introduction. Right. It was just weird. Like they took 2 steps and like, "I'm Dr. Z. My pronouns are she, her," and then steps to the side. And I'm just like, "Hi, Dr. Z."
Nice
like,
to meet you. And
oh my God.
And
It was
you.
so strange. I know, it was so strange. I didn't know what to do. So at the end, I was like, "Hi, everybody. My name is Beau, and my pronouns are he, him." And like,
oh, we're all friends now.
Cool. And then they all just stood with their hands like in front of them, just like listening to Dr. Hamidian ask me questions. And he asked me questions about like family health history. Do we have any history of breast cancer or ovarian cancer? And
you also don't have to answer any of these questions that I ask you, but I'm just curious.
Oh, boy, if you don't shut up, this is a podcast.
What up?
So, thankfully there is none of that kind of history in my family. And he wrote all that down. He asked me if I had a support network for after surgery, if someone was going to be available to tend to me 24/7 while I'm healing. And I informed him that yes, I would, because my partner works from home and is totally prepared for this. I'm making him prepared for this. And also my mom is on standby too. And so she's come a long way. Before she was like sad at the thought of me getting top surgery.
Sure.
Weird.
Yeah.
But now she's like, now she's like, "Tell me when it is. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there when you wake up." And like, and I told her, if something happens and Tim has to go somewhere for a family or for work or whatever, if it was okay for her to pick me up and take me back to her place and take care of me. And she was like, "Yeah, just give me notice." Absolutely. So I have, my partner, and then my plan B, my mom. And
cool.
And they also asked, are you employed? Is your employer supportive of this? Will they give you the time off? How long have you been transitioning socially and medically? What else did they ask? Oh, like things like current health conditions, any use of recreational drugs, which was funny. I was like, weed, and I told them that I don't smoke the weed, that I vape it because my asthma, like the flower combustion, the smoke really bothers me. And they're like, "Yeah, that makes sense." And then they informed me that 4 weeks before surgery, I need to switch from inhaling THC to eating it if I'm going to be consuming it at all.
Like edible THC snacks, things like that.
Right, like tinctures, oils, like RSO, that kind of thing, because of the effect that it can have on anesthesia. And also like breathing issues can happen under anesthesia, and we don't want that to happen. So I mentioned that, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, an acid."
Oh yeah, I forgot
that I do acid sometimes. And And the doctor was like, no acid.
No
You could,
acid.
you could die. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm
Strict.
not going to do acid. First of all, I told him that I only do it like 3 times a year at max, maybe. And what kind of disconnected fucking crazy psychopath is going to drop acid anywhere near the time that they're going to go under the knife? You know?
And
Oh,
if you
it's the
have
day of
to
surgery.
do
Let
that
me.
to go under the knife, you should reevaluate what you're doing.
If you need to drop acid before you have surgery, there is something wrong with your brain chemistry.
Please
Like,
reach out to a medical professional.
please. Oh
So
my
you
God.
confirm no acid, I promise.
No acid. Don't worry, doc. Last time I did acid was the 1st of this year. I'm not doing it again until after surgery, I assure
good.
you.
You have my word.
Right. So
And this whole time you have your shirt on, right? Like you're still like
well, yeah, the gown. I have the
That's
gown
what I
on,
mean.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then Dr. Hamidian was done asking his questions,
like
and then he left the room and handed it over to one of the residents, and the resident went on the computer and asked me more questions.
Mhm.
Which are just kind of like the same kind of thing. I don't really know why Dr. Hamidian had to leave. But I guess also these doctors were shadowing him. So I guess it was like a hands-on experience of them to do some of the work, you know? I don't know. I mean, they were all really nice. It was just weird. And so he asked me some questions too, more like drug questions. And when they were like, how often do you acid? I was like 3 times a year, just for funsies. And that gave everybody a little giggle. All the doctors laughed.
Yes. Hey, you're being honest.
Right. Yeah. Well, one thing I'm gonna be is honest to the guy that's about to cut open my chest.
Cut you, bro.
Right? If there's one person you need to be honest with, it's to the guy that's about to cut you open. Because like, what if I didn't say acid? And what if I don't know?
Yeah, you gotta know these things. You gotta know.
Right. You gotta know these things. So they ordered labs that I still need to get done.
Like blood
Labs,
work,
right? Yeah, like blood work. Well, I think it's gonna be a urine test.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like for drugs to test me for drugs because they don't want anything in my system that's gonna affect with the anesthesia.
Double check.
Right. And I did double check to make sure that the LSD would be out of my system by like for a urine test, because if I come back testing positive for any of these things that they're testing for, surgery's off the table. And then I gotta test. I gotta wait till I can. Right.
Yeah.
I gotta wait till I test negative for him. So I'm trying not to need fucking 15 different labs. You know what I'm saying? So I double checked to make, like, I Googled, how long LSD stays in urine, and it should be out of my system by now. So
yeah, well, good.
And shout out to the FBI agent watching my Google searches.
What up? Subscribe, tell your friends.
Right. So then came the measuring.
Here we go.
And this was, I hated this part so much. I literally had to dissociate to get through this fucking, oh my God. So I
hate even having to do that and like leave. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my God. So listen, so this guy is like, okay, can you take your gown off? We're just going to do some measurements. Okay. I didn't know what kind of measurements.
No nipple guards.
No nipple guards, just no like tape, tits out.
No tape, no binders.
Nothing.
Here we are.
Bare titties out in the breeze with a room full of people just staring at him. I felt like a fucking circus act.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Did they react when you opened your shirt?
No. Thank God. If anybody made even a noise, I would have died. I
would have died also. I mean, I would have
I would have simply passed away right
Yeah.
then. Right?
I mean, holy crap. Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So no one batted an eye. They kept their composure.
Everyone kept their composure, which is good. They're just hairy titties.
Yep.
Nothing to be alarmed about.
I'm sure you've Googled it.
And so another thing they asked me was like, do you bind? And I was like, yeah, but not with traditional binders. I only use trans tape. And they were like, what's that? And I was like, let me tell you. And I was also wearing this hoodie. And the surgeon's PA knew what trans tape was. And when I said, when they were like, what's your job? What do you do? I was like, I'm the customer relations manager for trans tape. And then the surgeon's PA was like, ooh, big deal, Beau.
Yes.
It was really cute. It was really cute and funny.
That's priceless. I love that.
Yeah. So I told them all that, and it was measuring time. He had like a fabric tape measure, and
gloves.
Yes, gloves, absolutely gloves. And we were all wearing masks.
Okay.
And so I was expecting like, I don't know, like a bra fitting kind of experience, with the measurement.
All the way around.
Right. Yeah. All the way around on top. Right.
The corners, I'm sure.
It wasn't like that. It was way more intense. So
really?
he measured like from the dip in my clavicle to my nipple on both sides. Okay. And he's saying the measurements out loud as he does it. And one of the other residents is typing it in. And this was when I realized exactly how lopsided I am. I mean, I knew I was lopsided, but to have a number.
Yeah. I see. To literally measure.
Right. So he's
with
like
a ruler.
He's like from here to my nipple, and he's like, okay, 22. And then just from here to this nipple, and he's like, okay, 30. And I'm like, damn.
He said, what? Wait, go back. Back.
Why is this one 6 inches lower than that one? Fuck.
Bodies are different, bro.
I was like, oh my God. I had no, like, I look at them in the mirror and I know that they're asymmetrical, but fuck, Jesus.
I'm like measuring to myself.
Like
everybody in the car right now is touching their chest, listening to this podcast.
Oh my God. So he did that. And then he was like, and then he like tried to get under, and he was like, can you lift your breast, please?
Oh God.
So I was like, yeah, sure, bud.
Yeah, man.
I had to lift it up, and then he was like, okay, and then drop it. And it was
you had to drop it out.
I had to lift it up so that he could get under.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
And then drop it so that he like measure the outside of it. And I had to do that on both sides, which was just, I was like, oh my God, fucking kill me.
Take me now.
Take me. Oh my God.
So you're just like disassociating.
I'm just staring. And he is this close to me. He is like inches from my face. I am trying.
And it's a hands-on experience.
Right. It's just feeling all up on my titties and my nipples and stuff. And I'm just staring.
Yeah.
I'm just
spacing out, gone.
I'm just spacing out, staring past like his shoulder onto the wall and like lifting up my titty.
Wake me up when we're done.
And just dropping my titty and lifting up my other titty and just dropping my titty. And then he's saying all these numbers. And then he was like, okay, you can put your shirt back on now. And I was like, all right, fucking Christ, Jesus. Whew, that was awful. And then So they did all that. And then the PA came in, brought me my packet and 2 sealed like big ass wet wipes. Like big ass wet wipes.
Mhm.
Like big ass wet wipes. And she was like, this is for the night before surgery and the morning of surgery. You're supposed to take a shower and wipe yourself the night before surgery with one of these giant wet wipes, your neck and your abdomen and your armpits and your chest and all that. And then also take a shower the morning of and do the same thing with the wet wipe. And it's supposed to like kill all the bacteria, prevent any infection from when you get cut open. And she also gave me a packet of like everything to expect, what's going to happen in surgery. Like he's going to perform a double mastectomy with male chest contouring and free nipple grafts. That's going to include liposuction of the upper abdomen and blah, 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 and this, and that. And you're going to be under anesthesia. After surgery, you're going to be put on a regimen of Tylenol and ibuprofen to switch back and forth. And you're going to be supplied with a measuring cup to measure the fluid that comes out of your drains, which is something I'm glad that they mentioned because I need to fucking mentally prepare
Yep.
for like
And the people who are
that.
caring for you have to know what's coming. They have to be educated, you know.
Right. It's I'm squeamish and I'm not looking forward to the act of taking my drain, pouring it into a cup, and then paying very close attention to where it sits on that cup so that I can
Did
mark
someone
down the
suggest
measurement.
marking the tube, the bulb? Didn't someone told us somewhere, somebody told me somewhere about marking the bulb so you know it's
Maybe.
like a third of a cup. However the fuck you measure.
Oh yeah, like you measure it the first time and then you're like, oh okay, that was this much.
Yeah, like it goes to that line. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought
But
of
even
that.
still, you're still gonna have to
Still,
like
it's a
empty
lot
it
to-
and rinse it. And
I'm squeamish as well. So, and
I'm
our
not looking forward to it.
cis partners are in for a treat.
Yeah. Yeah. I told him, I was like, if it's something that I can't do, you have to.
Like this is part of what we're signing, bro.
Right. Like this is what you signed up for.
I love you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. But the good thing is it's only gonna happen once, hopefully.
Right. And then we'll be done. And I'll be so much happier. Okay.
Right. Exactly. My clothes will fit better. It'll be great. So what did I say? What was the last thing? Oh, you're hitting that bong, are you?
Yeah, I had to. Sorry, bro.
It's okay. Don't be sorry.
I stay hitting the bong. For the record, I'm pretty sure what we had. Sorry about that. It was the same thing. So I'm still coughing up a lot of things.
Oh, you're still getting over it too?
And I've been hitting the bong ever since I got back. So
Ooh.
I never gave up the bong. The bong stays, bro.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
I can't be doing that. You're brave.
I don't sound like you though, but yes. Sorry for the interruption. The last thing we said was that they handed you your packet and they gave you wipes and explained the wipes.
Thank you so much. This is why I love you.
Well, I'm just here to help.
So they gave me the packet and everything. And also in the packet was like these little diagrams, like photos of people. And it's like diagrams of how to get in and out of bed, how to put a shirt on, how to get dressed, how to do this. And I was like,
interesting.
That's like something I didn't know I would have needed.
Yeah.
But
and you didn't know it existed and that you needed that to exist. You have to send me a picture of this.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Personally.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
but
I haven't seen this myself.
It was like we have a really tall bed. Excuse me. It's on 18-inch like platform bed frame. And then we also have the box spring underneath of it and then the mattress. It's really high up. You have to like take a step and like I have to like step up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to sleep in bed.
Right.
Because I'm looking at this packet and I'm like,
That's high off the ground.
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get in and out of bed.
Yeah.
So,
Mm,
at least not for a while.
yeah.
Um, and our timeline is kind of weird right now because first of all, I don't have a surgery date yet. And second of all, this is the year we're also trying to move out of this apartment.
Right.
So it's like I'm trying to think of my healing in this space and
Yeah.
also in a possible new space
Right.
where we're actively moving, where I actively
Yeah.
have to like be lifting things and stuff. And
And you wouldn't be
obviously,
doing those things.
right, obviously I'm not going to be able to do that. But if we're in the middle of moving, I mean, I told Tim I'm not putting this off.
Yeah.
And it's going to
I'm
be,
hoping that statistically that it won't be like at the same time. Like it'll at least be a month apart. And
yeah,
a month is a long time just to do the living room kind of thing. So hopefully
right.
I'm hoping for it to be statistically more possible that it's at least a month apart.
Yeah. I'm really
I'm
hoping.
manifesting that for you, bro.
Oh my God, thank you. I need the manifesting.
It's there. It's on its way.
I'm also trying to manifest that it happens like, I'm hoping for around April.
Yeah, bro.
Because first of all, then we'd be healing at the same time. And I just think that's really cute. And
Bro,
also,
I don't even think I'm gonna be able to do April anymore. I don't know about my
really?
I hope I mean if I can get this insurance situated, but I was planning on traveling and now that seems like that's gonna be more out of my budget because I think it's gonna be a little more costing
Yeah.
on my co-insurance side. So I'm reevaluating all my cards, but I am still manifesting 2023 is a thing and that's still gonna happen. So
Okay.
I don't have like lost hopes for 23. 23 is my year to get them off no matter what. I don't care if it has to be December, it will be 23. So
Yes, sir.
that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, I'm manifesting that for you.
Thanks, bro. And I am
And
all about with you the whole way.
I would like it to either be
Me
yeah,
first.
I kind of want to move first.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Like
Yeah.
if I could
Yeah.
choose, I kind of want to move first
Have a space.
and then I could think about my space as far as healing
Yes.
goes.
Absolutely.
We could keep the bed on the floor. We could, do something
Yeah.
and that we can then fix later.
Mm.
Or
Yeah.
like get a new armchair so that way I could sleep in there because I cannot sleep on my back. They're expecting me to sleep on my back. I cannot sleep on my back. You better
I
saran
can't
wrap me
fall
in place.
asleep until I move off of it.
Oh man, I can't. I sleep on my side or on my belly
Me too. All the
or
way.
a combination of the two.
All the way. Yep.
I can't sleep on
Half
my
on
back.
top of Kayla or Tim with your
Yeah. Leg up on Tim. Yeah.
hanging off the bed.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and also our bed is small and we both kind of, I mean, it's small for us. We're two big people. And we kind of toss and turn and I'm worried about my drains
Sure.
and like him tossing or me tossing,
Yeah,
like yanking a drain out
you
or
got to
something.
think about these things in post coverage, post surgery. So
Right.
that's good that you're planning these things. Wow.
Right.
So while you're waiting right now, right?
Yeah. I'm waiting for, I still have to get these labs done.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to wait to get the labs done until after I'm feeling a bit better.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to infect anybody else, even though they said that um that RSV isn't as contagious as COVID or whatever, blah blah blah. I'm just trying not to make
So
anybody sick.
better safe. Yeah.
And I've been on antibiotics, and I think that like after you finish your antibiotics, then you're not contagious anymore.
Mhm. But you still need to finish feeling better before you can go out and do those things.
Right. So I'm just trying to get better. And then I got to take these labs. I found a LabCorp that's close by.
Nice.
I'm going to get those labs done. And then once those labs are done, get the results sent to Temple. And then once they get the results, then they're going to contact my health insurance to make sure that the procedure will be covered.
Mhm.
And whether it is or not, then Estelle will contact me to let me know.
Give you some
And
numbers.
right. And they told me that in any situations with like the insurance, if they say no about something or, give guff or whatever, that they will fight on my behalf for the insurance, and which is nice.
Absolutely.
And I also already sent them my 2 letters of medical necessity, one from my doctor and one from a psychologist.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they told me that 2 letters of medical necessity is
Yeah.
a really good start because they said that
They told me
somehow,
that too.
yeah, they said that sometimes when you only have one, insurance will deny it. But
Right.
if you have two,
Like
then
extra. Yeah.
right. And I had faxed that to them
Sure.
forever ago. That
Yeah.
was another benefit of having my primary care physician be at the Mazzoni Center, because they have these resources readily available. All I have to do is send them an email and say, "Look, I'm a candidacy for top surgery. Top surgery. I
Yeah.
need
Right.
this
State.
letter, and I need it faxed to this place." And they're like, "Yeah, bet. Here it is. I
Wow, that's
faxed it over. There you go."
that is cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really great.
That was yeah.
And so yeah, so that's where I am now. I'm just trying to get better so I can get these labs done, and then waiting on the insurance approval. I've heard that the insurance approval is the hardest part,
Right.
but after sending those emails
Yeah.
and getting turned down all those times, it
And
it
then
just seems
being in a
like
room, showing your chest to a room full of people, like
yeah, I'm
insurance
like,
is not the hardest part.
I'm not sure if this is the hardest part,
Yeah,
guys.
it can't
Like,
be.
oh,
Yeah. That's just so good though. I'm so excited, bro, to be like for this to be happening for you. And so hopefully it'll be relatively soon. So when you do the next step and you have your like date, we'll do another episode and
oh yeah.
we'll do like an update episode so you guys can stay in the know of what Beau is doing, Beau's top surgery journey. I'm sure we'll do an episode on mine or whatever, my consultant thoughts at some point. And yeah, we're just gonna bring you guys along for the whole freaking rodeo.
Well, I was looking through my memories on Facebook today,
Mm.
and a post came up that just like really brought it into perspective for me, and I kind of want to read it.
Can you please
Hold
read
on,
it?
I'm gonna bring it up.
Oh my gosh, yes, I would love that.
So for the longest time, I I'd been working dead end jobs, working my ass off, not being able to afford insurance. So top surgery just seemed like it was never going to be something possible for me.
Mhm.
And I was trying to accept that for a really long time because I didn't want to break my own heart
Yeah, you didn't
by
get your hopes up.
right, by expecting that this is something that could happen for me when it never seemed like it could. And um I made this post 4 years ago, and I was I'm just gonna read what I posted. Um so I have PTSD and a comorbid diagnosis of a few other things. And anyway, I have a shit brain due to trauma. My hippocampus is so small I'm literally incapable of processing emotion, and just other general bad brain bullshit. I've been in and out of cognitive behavioral therapy for a couple years, my last visit being right before I came out 5 years ago, which was 9 years ago, actually. 5 years ago
Not
from this
now.
post. Right. Part of cognitive behavioral therapy is doing the footwork to literally retrain your brain. So maybe every time I'm minorly inconvenienced, I don't want to actually unalive myself. So I posted a screenshot of a conversation that I was having with a friend of mine where I was kind of mourning my ability for having top surgery. And at this point in time, I was still living with my phobic grandparents. I was lying about being on testosterone. They thought that it was an asthma medication that I was injecting. And I thought that once I started testosterone, I would be forcing myself. I would be forcing myself on this timeline to move out because I'm like, I'm going to start, showing signs soon. And I don't want to be around them when this happens. So this is going to kickstart my ass into saving so that I can move out.
Mhm.
But then that started looking like it wasn't going to be a possibility. So I started getting scared that I would either be homeless or have to stop testosterone. So this is the screenshot of what I said to my friend, where I was just trying to vent about these circumstances, and this is what I said. I've been fucking sad about my future recently. Now that I'm on T, all I can think about is top surgery and how that's never going to happen. But I didn't think T would. It took 5 years, but it happened. But also, I'm on a timeline now, which I thought would motivate me. But now I'm scared I won't be able to move out on my own terms. And then I remembered I'm allowed to slow down or stop taking T to keep myself safe, which would suck, but I can start back up. Any voice changes should be permanent, and so should the facial hair. So, dot, dot, dot. And that was the screenshot. That was what I said. And to that, in the caption of this post, I said, this is years in the making, years of work, hard work and consistency and resilience. I had originally messaged my friend to vent to them, knowing they would make me feel better. But instead, I accidentally did my ABCs, which is the point of doing them. So, success. And I made myself feel better. Fuck yeah, eat my dick. I am carving neural pathways out of this shit brain and I can't be stopped.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And here I am 4 years later after that post, fucking this close to top surgery.
Like you can just feel it almost.
Oh my God, I'm getting heart palpitations.
Oh my God.
And
You're
I just
close.
I'm very close. I'm way closer than I was when I made this post.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
I was like trying to convince myself and come to terms with, not ever having this be a possibility.
Yeah.
But then I reeled myself in, I
Mhm.
comforted myself. That was
Yeah.
a big step for me,
Yeah.
especially at the time.
That's the hardest thing. Tell me what the ABCs are.
The ABCs, it
We'll
was an
send them off with
exercise.
some homework and some tool, at least a tool for them to in there.
Yeah. So with cognitive behavioral therapy, a lot of it is really hands-on, because the point of it is to, like I said in that post, is to retrain your brain to reform neural pathways that you might have lost or maybe never had due to trauma, because trauma really actually changes the landscape of your brain. And like I said, my hippocampus, which is the part of your brain that processes emotion, is physically much smaller than that of a hippocampus in a healthy brain without PTSD. So the way I was told was that, you see a stimuli or you experience a stimulation. And then your brain takes that stimulation, it goes to your hippocampus to process. After processing, you react. But when your hippocampus is too small, that processing is much shorter or it bypasses completely. So instead of processing and then reacting, I just react, which is why I cry all the time at the drop of a hat. You could just be talking about your day and all of a sudden tears are falling from my face. It's not because I'm sad or anything like that. It's just because I'm reacting to a stimulus that I couldn't process.
Yeah.
So my brain's default is just cry.
Yeah. That's okay.
So in order to fix that, you have to practice. You have to train your brain to not do that. And creating habits starts with writing things down. And then after you write them down for so many times, then they start to be you just do it in your head instead of writing it down.
Mhm.
And then you're doing it without even realizing it. And so the ABCs, it was that kind of like exercise. At first, you have to write it. And so you make 3 columns, A, B, and C. Column A, you write down the triggering thought or action that that you experience that's triggering these strong emotions. So like for me, something I reacted irrationally to was spills because of trauma from my mother. So I spilled column A, my triggering thought or action. I spilled the Kool-Aid I just made in the pitcher. I spilled it all down the drain. Column B is how that initially makes you feel. Your initial knee-jerk thought or reaction, right? So my initial knee-jerk, without any going into too much of it, initially, I can't do anything right. I can't even fucking make a picture of Kool-Aid. Why am I so fucking clumsy?
Right.
And column C is a replacement thought for column B. It is supposed to come from you and you alone. You cannot ask for any help and you cannot leave it blank. And it's supposed to be a positive replacement thought. Okay, so A, I spilled the Kool-Aid. B, I can't do anything right. C, it'll take 5 minutes max to clean it up. I have paper towels and I have more Kool-Aid. This cost me a couple dollars of Kool-Aid, but that's okay. Now I know the surface is wobbly. I can pay more care to not spill it this time.
Yeah.
And there we
Coming
go.
up with that answer took a long time.
It can take a long time. And
Yeah.
sometimes you got to give yourself the tantrum. Sometimes you got to be in B for a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to fucking cry and rock and just have a fucking meltdown.
In B.
But the point is, you move on to C and you finish it.
Mhm.
And then next time you spill something, you remember that ABC.
Yeah.
And then you just do it in your head. You write it down as much as you can. Keep a notebook of them. Go and look back to them later.
Yeah.
But the more you do this, it's like shoveling a driveway. That
Mhm.
path is going to stay there. And you're
Yeah.
just going to make a more deeper and deeper path for your neural pathways to connect. And eventually, you're going to be doing that in your head. And eventually, you're not even going to be doing it. It's going to be involuntary.
It's part of your
One
habit.
day, right? One day, you're just going to spill something and be like, silly. I'll just clean that up.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
practice that with positivity a lot.
yeah, exactly. That
See.
self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing.
Yeah.
The more negative shit that comes out of your mouth, the more negative shit that's going to come into your life.
Yeah. No, that's so. I appreciate you sharing this ABC knowledge. That is, I love that. You've told me that before, and you just told me again, and now I feel like it's fresh on the brain, and it's always good to have fresh on the brain. Probably post this on social because that was a good one. And thank you guys for listening. We love you very much. We will keep you posted on Beau's top surgery journey. So make sure you're subscribed. And we'll see you next round.
Bye.
Okay, bye.